Hello everyone, hope this video finds you safe and well. We're well into the lockdown period and I've been at home with the kids for quite some time now, and one of the things we've loved to do is to bake. I have it on good authority that it counts for all of the schoolwork, including maths, English and science. This is Ruben, if you don't know us. I'm Paul, this is Ruben. How old are you, Ruben? 5, and this is Alicia. How old are you, Alicia? 10. And this is Brooke, and she's 11 months old now. She is about due to go for a sleep, so I'm going to get her down to sleep, and then we're going to have a go at a couple of recipes and show you how you can have a go at home yourselves. We are going to do 2 different types of cookies, and we're also going to have a go at showing you a milkshake hack as well, which the kids absolutely love. Hi guys, we're back in the kitchen. Brooke's now asleep, and we're going to have a go at making Ruben's favourite cookies, which are Oatmeal and Raisin, and they're also Mummy's favourite, aren't they, as well? I really like them as well. They don't hang around long, so we make a batch quite often, and this is, I don't know how many times we've made it now whilst we've been in lockdown. Quite a few times, and we're quite used to making this one. We'll hopefully run through it fairly well with you, but we'll put the ingredients down in the description box below. Here we go. So first of all, we're going to combine our dry ingredients, and what we're going to put into the bowl first is our oats, as it is Oatmeal and Raisin cookies. Nothing special about these oats, just plain old porridge oats. Nice and simple. The cheap ones as well, it's not even an expensive one. Ruben, if you could tip them into the bowl for me, that'd be really good. So popping those in. Next, we are going to need 100 grams of flour. And we are going to also put into that half a teaspoon of bicarbonated soda. In there. And sieve it in. If you're using self-raising flour, maybe you haven't got plain flour, then you may not need to use the bicarbonated soda because it's already got the raisin agent in. It's whatever you can get your hands on at the minute, so don't worry, it doesn't have to be too precious. So we're going to sieve it in just so we can get any lumps out. It also mixes in that bicarbonated soda as well. I'm just going to give that a stir around. Just give that a little stir around with a spoon to incorporate it all together. That's it. And then the raisins. Now, if you haven't got raisins, you can use sultanas or any other kind of dried fruit really. If you chop it up nice and small, and we'll pop that in now. So give that a stir around and get them nicely mixed in. And the final part for our dry ingredients is half a teaspoon of mixed spice. This is mixed spice, it's got cinnamon, nutmeg, coriander seeds in. It's that sort of fragrant holiday spice, I suppose you'd say, maybe like a Christmas spice. But it's really nice and it just works really well in these cookies. Again, just give it another little stir around so we get that mixed in nicely. So that's all your dry ingredients into the bowl. We're going to set that off to one side now. As you can see, we've got it all mixed in there. And we're going to bring it across a separate bowl for our wet ingredients and our sugar. So we've got 100 grams of butter in the bowl already. It's nice and soft, it's at room temperature at this time of year in the summer. It's not too bad. You don't want to work with butter straight out of the fridge or it'll be too hard to mix. We've then also got in a bowl already measured out 50 grams of brown sugar and 50 grams of caster sugar, so 100 grams of sugar in total. If you haven't got the brown sugar, then don't worry. You could just use caster sugar. It's just going to give it a little bit richer flavour and perhaps a little bit more of a chewy texture. Let's chuck that in. And we're going to need to mix that around We're also going to add in an egg, and just so that we don't get any shell in the mix, we're going to get Ruben just to break it into a separate bowl first, just in case we need to rescue any shell out of there. So give it a good crack. That's it. Use your thumbs and pull it apart. Right in the bowl there, that's it, all in. That's it, keep pouring it in there. We split the yolk, but that doesn't matter because we're going to whisk it round. That's it. Just give your hands a little rinse in the bowl, and now we can pop that egg in with our butter and our sugar and mix it all together. So you want to mix this around until it's all combined and nice and smooth. This might take a little while, that's why I said you do need to make sure your butter's nice and soft. You could soften it in the microwave if you want to. You don't really want it melted though. You still want it to emulsify with the egg. So we'll get on, mix that, and we'll see you in a second. So it's all mixed in and combined, and hopefully you can see it's nice and smooth. And now we can add this across into our dry mixture, mix it all together. So let's scoop it across. This is a really simple recipe, and hopefully you have most of the ingredients in the cupboard, and it doesn't use too much butter as well. I know we've been getting through a lot of butter recently, making all the different things, and 100 grams isn't too bad. We can make a couple of batches of these. If you want to, and you do make more than one batch, what you can do is freeze it. So you could roll it up and put it in the freezer, maybe in parchment paper or in some cling film, and then you can bring it out when you need it, cut it into little discs, and bake straight away. But we're gonna get on, mix this up, and then we'll be ready to make it into little balls for our cookie dough. This is going to take a little while to mix in all together thoroughly, and we'll be back in a second. So it's pretty much getting there. Do make sure you get right into the bottom so you get all of that mixture. Probably used a bit of a small bowl. We probably should have got the bigger bowl out, but never mind, it's okay. So once it's all like this and all combined, then we can start making it into our little balls for our cookies. I've got a baking sheet already lined with some greaseproof paper or parchment paper, and what we want to do is now the messy part. So we are going to grab little handfuls of the cookie dough mixture and roll it into balls. You want them a decent size, so probably just a little bit bigger than a golf ball. And we will put these out on our sheet. A little bit bigger, Ruben, pop a little bit more on there than that. So as you can see, a nice size cookie. And you want to space them out. They won't spread massively, but they will spread a little bit. So we'll get on and make all of these up, sheet them up, and we'll show you there. So this has made about 15 cookies. You could make them slightly bigger, you could make them slightly smaller. You know, some of them aren't exactly all the same size. It's just a bit of fun, and we're in the kitchen having a bit of fun, aren't we, Ruben? So you've got them into a ball, and now what we need to do is push them all down so they are nice and flat, because they won't melt like chocolate chip cookies do, and we just need to give them a good old squish down into little flat biscuit shapes. So there we go, ready to bake. We're going to preheat our oven now to 180 degrees centigrade, and we're going to bake them for about 8 to 10 minutes. If they don't look done, pop them back in. It doesn't matter, they're not going to rise and fall like a cake or anything like that. let's pop them in the oven and we'll see you back in a second. So we are back in the kitchen. Brooke's now back awake again. You never get too long in the middle of the day. And they've had about 10 minutes. So we're going to get them out of the oven and have a little look. So here they are. And they smell absolutely amazing. As you can see, they've spread a little bit and a couple of them have touched together. That's not a problem. We're going to leave these to cool down. They will be a little bit soft still, but they'll firm up as they cool. So let them cool all the way down before you dig in. There you go. That's your oatmeal and raisin cookies. Nice and simple. Give them a go. Like I said, don't forget to give us a like if you enjoyed watching this part of the video. And we will now have a look at making some chocolate chip cookies with Alicia. Hi guys, we're back in the kitchen. We are with Alicia. We've got Brooke as well, and we're going to have a go at making some chocolate chip cookies. Let's have a go and see how we get on. Okay, so we're going to start by incorporating again our dry ingredients into one bowl. So
you're going to add in 170 grams of flour.
That's it, we'll sift that in. Again, just don't want to get any lumps in there. And we want to make it nice and fine. That's it. That's it, sift that in there. To that we're also going to sift in half a teaspoon of salt. And again, half a teaspoon of bicarbonate soda. And we're just going to give that a little mix up and combine it all together. We're then going to set that aside and we'll move on to our butter. So for this, we've melted our butter this time round. So we have got 110 grams of melted butter, and we've done that in the microwave. So pour that one in. Get it all in there, that's it. And again, we've got a combination of caster sugar and brown sugar. And we've gone a little bit more on the brown sugar. That's just going to add some extra flavour and, like I said, a little bit more of a chewy, fudgy texture and taste. So we have got about 110 grams there of soft brown sugar. And we've got the rest of it in caster sugar. You could use granulated, I suppose. If you haven't got caster, it's just a little bit finer. Easier to mix up, and that's 90 grams of the white sugar there. So pop that in, get that mixing round. And then we're also going to need to put in an egg as well. And again, I'm going to get Alicia to break it into the separate bowl just so we don't have any shell accidents. So pop it in that bowl there, Alicia. That's it.
Oh god, that's going to shell.
Now Reuben managed to get no shell, and I think Alicia's just chucked the whole of the shell in there as well. If you do get some shell in there, what you can do is rescue it out. And the best way to rescue shell from your mixture, if you just hold that up, Liz, I can show you, is you get a bigger piece of eggshell, and that just helps to be able to scoop the little bits of shell out. And now there's 2 bits in there, so that's 1 bit. Let's done that off, and we'll get that other bit out, because you don't want anyone crunching on that. Alicia is notoriously the most clumsy girl in the whole world. That's it, pop that egg in there and then get that a good mix around so it's all combined.
Make sure it gets to a nice smooth consistency and a bit like chewy, nice consistency.
That's it. So that's all combined, as you can see, it's nice and smooth. A little bit more syrupy looking, a little bit, I suppose it's from the melted butter. That's going to now go in with our dry ingredients.
Let's put that one in.
So we'll bring that bowl back across. We learnt our lesson from last time. We've used a bigger bowl this time. That's it. Pour it all in, scrape it all down in there so you've got all of your wet ingredient mixture into the bowl with the flour. Now, an optional extra you can add in, just to give it a little bit extra flavour, is about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. You don't have to add it if you haven't got it. I know it's really difficult to get hold of right now, but we're going to chuck that in just to give it a little bit extra flavour. That's it, go ahead and start mixing that in. Chocolate, so we, you can use chocolate chips if you've got them. We like to chunk up our own chocolate. Plus, if you're again trying to get chocolate chips in the supermarkets right now, it is almost impossible to get those. So we've gone for 110 grams of chocolate. This is a milk chocolate. Personally, I prefer a dark chocolate, but I know the kids love the milk chocolate. We are going to chuck that in. We're going to save back a few chunks just so we can dot them on top of the cookies before we bake them. And once we've mixed this up, we're going to actually chill our cookie batter, our cookie dough, in the fridge. Half an hour, an hour. You can leave it as long as you want, really. Some people even manage to leave it a whole 5 days in there. I don't know how they do that. And that just is called aging the dough, and it's going to give a really intense flavour to. Yes, bro. It's going to give it a really intense flavour to the cookie. We haven't got time to wait 5 days. We're going to chuck it in the fridge for about half an hour, and we'll meet you back then. We're going to grab some lunch, and we'll be back to scoop these out and put them on our tray ready for baking. Hi, we are back. We've had some lunch, and we are now going to scoop out our cookie batter, our cookie dough, onto baking sheets. So it's had time to chill in the fridge, so it's nice and firm as well, so it's a little bit easier to work with, and it's just going to hold its shape well for when we're putting those cookies on the tray. We've got an ice cream scoop. That's going to help us scoop out nice even shapes, pieces. And we've got 2 baking sheets with some parchment, some baking paper on there. Yes, but we have. So we're going to get them scooped out onto the tray. If you don't have an ice cream scoop, you can just use your hands like before. Just pop them into a ball. You don't want to melt them too much. By warming them in your hands, just pop them down on the tray. That's it. And we'll keep going, and we'll stack them all out on the tray. Again, with these, they do spread a lot more than the oatmeal and raisin cookies, so we want to give them plenty of space. So we've got our cookie dough balls on the trays. We've got 7. You could stretch it out and make 8 and make them a little bit smaller. We do like a decent sized cookie, and as you can see, we've spread them nice and far apart on the trays, just so that they don't all spread into each other. Yes. And what we're now going to do is, we did save a little bit of chocolate back earlier, and we're going to stud that on the top, so that's just going to help melt down and make them extra chocolatey. So there we go, Alyssa, you can do the honours and pop those just studded in the top, a couple pieces on each one. We'll just give it that extra little topping, and that'll be really nice. So So we're going to preheat the oven up now to 180 degrees. And these will bake for around 12 to 15 minutes at 180 degrees. And you'll notice around the outside they'll start to go a light golden brown colour. Well, they might still look a little bit light in the middle, but don't worry, that's going to just give you that soft, chewy texture. So, we are back in the kitchen, the timer's just gone off, and the whole kitchen just smells absolutely amazing. It's like full of chocolate smell, isn't it, Alicia?
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. I'm going to grab them out the oven and have a little look. They've had 12 minutes. 12 to 15 minutes is about right.
They look nice, soft, cookie-like.
As you can see, maybe a tad overdone on a couple of them there, but just around the outside edge, probably a little bit difficult to show you. Around the outside edge, they've started to go golden brown. In the middle, they still look a little bit light. That one at the back there, probably a little bit too long. The oven cooks slightly different on different shelves, so you just have to get used to your own oven, really. And again, these look slightly better. Perhaps this one here, a little bit underdone. Some of that chocolate still looking a little bit hard, but there we go. Maybe I could have tried to put the oven up to 190 next time, but we'll give it a good go. They still look really good and really tasty. They're going to need a couple of minutes
to cool down.
Yeah, just to cool down and set. You still want to perhaps eat them warm, but the minute you'll see that they are still squidgy and mushy, and they're not ready to pick up off the tray. While they're cooling down though, like I said, we're going to have a really cool milkshake hack. We love cookies and milk, and cookies and milkshake are even better. So let's just put these over out of the way, and I'll grab the blender and the ingredients for the milkshake. So grab the blender out of the cupboard. Now if you don't have a blender like this, then you could use a stick blender, immersion blender. But yeah, we've got one, so we're going to give it a go. For this, you're going to need some vanilla ice cream, some milk. Now this is a milkshake, so don't hold back, go for whole milk if you've got it. If you haven't, use whatever you've got. We're using vanilla ice cream, so you've already got that vanilla flavouring in there. You could use another flavoured ice cream if you really wanted to, but the next ingredient is what's going to give it all the flavour. Now we love a chocolate milkshake in this household. And we also love Nutella. So our secret ingredient to this milkshake is Nutella. And we are going to put a good couple of spoonfuls in per milkshake to this recipe. Now I like a smooth but fairly thick milkshake, and I've come up with a good ratio for ice cream to milk. So let's get the lid off. Into the blender we are going to put 2 good scoops of ice cream. So if I could ask you to do that, Alicia.
Hold on.
The clumsiest girl in the whole world. Now this will make enough for one person, one glass. So we'll pop that in there. And then to our ice cream, we are going to add our milk. Now I've got a little half cup measure here, which is 125 mils. If you don't have a cup measure, then you could measure out in a jug. 125 mils of milk, and kind of a 2-to-1 ratio. So we've got 2 scoops of ice cream to 1 scoop of milk. You want to fill it all the way up to the top list there. That's it, but try not to spill it everywhere. That's it. I knew it was coming. That's it, get it in there. That's it, try not to lose any more. And then we will then grab the spoon. Let's give you a tap there quickly. And we want to put in 2 good spoonfuls of Nutella, and I'm going to give it to Alicia because Brooke is trying to get hold of that spoon because, like I said, we all love Nutella. Now scoop it off with your finger. If you didn't want to use fingers, you could get another spoon and scoop it off, but I know Alicia will be keen to use her fingers and keen to lick that spoon afterwards as well. We've got our ingredients into the blender, and we would just probably want to push that Nutella down so it's down with the rest of the ingredients. Just use the spoon there and get it down in with the ice cream and the milk. That's it. It's going to give it just half a chance to blend in. Now this is going to take a couple of minutes to get fully blended and smooth, and it gets a bit noisy at this point. So there you go. Had a couple of minutes blending. It's nice and frothy, and we're going to pour it straight into our glass. And we should, like I said, have enough there for one portion. Now, as you can see, it doesn't quite make the top, but what we're going to do is we are just going to go in there with a little bit of squirty cream and just top it off. And there you have it, one lovely, beautiful chocolatey Nutella milkshake with all that whipped cream on the top. Now while we've been doing that, I'm going to just pop that off to one side because I know Alicia's looking at that with eyes that is like ready to drink that straight down. I can show you our cookies are now solid. They're still warm and they are absolutely ready to eat. And I'm just going to give you a quick cross section of the cookie and break one apart to show you. So, oh yes, lovely and light and crumbly and chewy and chocolatey. There we go, cookies and milkshake. What more could you want? So there you go, we're going to really enjoy having some cookies and milkshake right now. Hopefully, like I say, you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please do leave us a like and comment below if you have a go at these. I'd love to know how you got on, and let us know which one's your favourite. Maybe you like Oatmeal and Raisin, maybe you prefer the chocolate chip, and let me know what you think of the Nutella milkshake hack. Thanks again, and we look forward to seeing you real soon. Bye for now.